Hi, I'm Alex, and today we'll be reviewing the Xtoyz Motorized Blaster Toy Gun. Quite a mouthful to be sure, but it's a Chinese company, so that's what happens. This basically essentially is kind of a kit blaster that has, the core blaster itself is a ripoff of the Nerf Stryfe, basically. But it comes with a bunch of different detachments and a bunch of different levels that we'll get into later on in the review. But the real question is, does it measure up to the Stryfe, or could it possibly be even better? So for full disclosure, the blaster that I was sent in this box here, I did not pay for. The people at Xtoyz actually sent me one. I went ahead and talked to them about the blaster, and I was really interested in looking at it. And they went ahead and sent me a review copy, which I'm very excited about. But let's go ahead and find out what's inside this sweet box. So inside the box here, we have the core blaster itself, a scope attachment, stock attachment, barrel attachment, grip attachment, 10-round magazine, 30 darts, and the instructions. There's a couple of different versions available, but this is the one I asked for. All right, now that we've got it out of the box, let's just talk about the core blaster itself for just a minute and just talk about some details going on there. First off, the big thing that you'll notice, or that I notice at least, is this thing is covered in tactical rails. It's got two on the top, one on each side, and also one little tiny one on the bottom here for the front grip. It only really works with their particular front grip, but I'll get into that in a second. Then at the back here, we've got a stock attachment point, which works with most Nerf attachments. However, I have noticed they're a little sticky on mine, so they don't really like to go on. All the rails work with all Nerf attachments, and they work great, other than this front one, which is too small for most Nerf attachments because they just have a big base on them. But the front here, we have a Nerf barrel lug. That's pretty, that works really well with every barrel attachment I put on it, and it fits really nice, and that one actually works quite well. At the front here, we've got a flip-up sight, which is pretty cool, to aim down, check out your targets. There's no rear sight to correspond with it. Up at the top here, we have the jam door, which you just pull this back and you can clear out any jams or malfunctions. I did not experience any. And it's latched in by this little peg on it that goes to a corresponding hole on the underside of the blaster, so it really locks into place there, which is really nice. Otherwise, we've got, the mag well here, and you got the mag well up here at the front and the grip here. Nothing really special there. The grip's basically a Stryfe grip, and the mag well's, well, it's a mag well. Now to the part everyone's really looking forward to, the attachments. So first off, we've got the scope here, which is very similar to the Nerf long shot scope, or not long shot, it's the sniper kit scope. It's pretty similar. It's painted a little bit differently, but it's got a couple little extra details that actually do make it look quite a bit nicer, which I really like. And then we got this front barrel here, which I know there's a Nerf equivalent of, but I can't remember what blaster it comes with because I feel like I sold mine recently for some reason. But the one thing that's nice about it is it does have a bigger bore on it, which means that it doesn't actually affect dart performance. So you can put this on any blaster and it'll look sweet and also shoot well too. Then we have the stock here, which is based off of the Thunderstorm, I think it's called, stock, which is a water gun thing, which is this is a very popular stock to have on a lot of Nerf blasters. I don't actually own one of those because they're super expensive, hard to get a hold of, and most of the time I'm spending my own money. But it's really cool to have one now, and I like it. It's nice and firm and it holds well. And then finally we have the forward grip. The forward grip is the only thing that I'm like, on, because of the fact that I really like that it folds, but unlike its Nerf cousin, the one big difference here is that it doesn't have a lock on it. So when it's holding out like this, and it closes, which means that when you're in outward position, if you pull back on your hand at all, it'll fold up like that, and it just won't work as well, which is unfortunate. But otherwise, it's perfectly good, and it's got some extra built-in parts at the top here so that it fits on the blaster pretty well. As an overall on the attachments, the big things to note are the teeth on the scope and the grip here are different than Nerf ones. They fit on standard Nerf attachment rails, no problem, but the difference is the Nerf ones are usually bendy and these ones are very firm, which is nice because the fact that means they actually stay on the rails as opposed to Nerf attachments, which are very good about not doing that. So that means actually like the scope, I'm not afraid of going anywhere, and the grip either. In fact, to be honest, if it had a lock on it, it would be my favorite grip. It'd be my favorite forward grip. I use it on everything. So for overall uses of the blaster, it's a flywheel style blaster and it runs on AA's like most of their blasters. You can access that by getting into the battery door here under the grip. You just undo this screw, pull off the door here, slap in the batteries, put the door back on, screw it back down, and then you're ready to pew pew. Overall for operation, the big one is obviously the magazine because it runs off magazines, which is important. It's just the magazine release right here, and it's very nice for ambi, so you can get it with your firing hand or with the opposite hand, and you can pull out the magazine like that and slap it back in. I really like how the magazine well feels. I think it's really nice, and other than like some third-party non-Nerf branded magazines, it's actually really loose, which is really nice. Only problem with that is because of the button's location and because my finger just kind of randomly shoots out there, I notice when I'm using it, it does tend to just drop magazines out because of its looseness, and also because I accidentally pressed the button a bunch. But it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's just something to watch out for. As for the ergonomics of the grip, it's basically almost identical to a Stryfe grip. I literally have no complaints whatsoever. It's solid. It feels good. In fact, I think the triggers and the buttons feel almost a little bit better than Nerf's do, which I didn't think was actually possible, but somehow the trigger just feels a little bit nicer than a Stryfe trigger. While we're on this topic of ergonomics, one thing I really have to talk about, and it's one of the things that drew me to the blaster after just noticing the looks of it, which I'll get to here in a second, is the front grip here. And really, it's so nice. I know I talk about front grips a lot. I feel like I just talked about it in my Halo Nerf assault rifle video that I did a little bit ago. And it seems to be a thing for me. I don't know. I think it's because I'm kind of into the more rifle-y type carbine thing. So it's really nice to have a front grip that's actually comfortable because Nerf doesn't like to build those a lot other than like on the Rapid Strike. But this one is just so nice. It's just like really good size for my hand. And it's got nice, ferreting in there, and your hand isn't really going anywhere, which is what I really like about it. It's just very comfortable to hold, and it gives you a nice place to hold onto it and shoot, which is pretty cool. It does lengthen the blaster a bit, but I haven't noticed any performance issues from that. While on the subject of performance, I haven't noticed any issues with this blaster. No jams, no malfunctions, no anything. I feel like maybe with the supplied suction cup darts, because I know that flywheels kind of get dicey around those, I've noticed a couple of times it kind of feels like it's gonna jam, but it hasn't actually jammed yet, so I can't actually complain. Obviously if you run bad darts through it, it's gonna jam. It doesn't matter what blaster you're running, that's just how it works. But really it performs really well, and I'm really excited about it. But now on to the style of the blaster here, which you can see I have it fully assembled now in all of its glory. And it is just, that's the one thing that drew me the first time I saw this thing. Like, I just saw it randomly on Amazon, and dang. This thing just looks cool. I really like the styling, or just the extra styling, stuff like that. It does really fit into Nerf and stuff like that, but even the coloration and everything is just really nice. The paint job is done pretty well. There's a couple of spots that are a little dicey, but that isn't anything we haven't seen before. Otherwise, it's really well done. I really like it. I just love the kind of future militaristic feel going on here, and the fact that they really are incorporating Nerf attachments, but they're even just customizing them a little bit in their own way, which is really nice. And it's really appreciated, actually. I love how the magazine is different as a 10-round banana mag and just looks really tactical. It looks like the 15-round off-brand ones that I have, the only ones that fit kind of weird in this thing. They work, they're just a little sticky, but I think they're sticky in normal Nerf, so that's fine. Yeah, so obviously it's got the dark gray with the silver accents, and then it's got yellow accents and orange everywhere. Admittedly, I was 50-50 on the dark gray when I was seeing pictures of it, I will admit. Seeing it in person now, I'm a little less iffy because it's very much like the gray accent, or a little bit brighter even than the gray accent the Nerf uses, so it doesn't really look like a real firearm as much, which is good. So it definitely looks like a toy. Plus, obviously, when you put this big old barrel on the front, it's so freaking orange, it's obvious it's a toy, and from every angle you can tell that this is a toy, and that's important. But I think that about covers it for how it looks. But let's see how it actually performs. Does it measure up to the Stryfe? Let's send it over to the range to find out. All right, welcome to the range. We're first going to start up with the included suction head darts, 10 of them in the standard magazine that comes with the Xtoyz blaster. We'll admit those seem a little dicey sometimes, but not too bad. Now with Adventure Force darts in an 18 round straight mag, just because, you know, gotta have more darts, right? All right, those shoot great though. Love those. All right, as you can see, it's pretty powerful and it does a pretty good job, and everything's pretty precise out of this thing. So let's go ahead and send it back to the studio. All right, now into my opinion of the Xtoyz Motorized Blaster toy gun. Overall, I'd have to say my opinion is very positive of this blaster. I mean, it feels good to shoot. It is nice to shoot. I mean, it shoots well. It's got good velocity on it from what I could tell, and obviously you put the right darts in it and it shoots very accurately, which is good. It looks really nice. I mean, obviously all the sweet attachments really help make it look extra good. And it's got lots of rails, which is good because then you can have a bunch of sweet attachments and do stupid stuff like that, because I like to do that. And just overall, I mean, it's a really solid package. Really the only problem I've run into with this one is that the included Xtoyz attachments, the ones at least in this one, do not work on the side rails. So you can't take this grip and put it on the side rail and run it like akimbo style, like Rambo type thing. It won't do that. However, normal Nerf attachments will work just fine on those and will fit. I think it's because of the fact that these have fixed teeth and they need to spread a little bit in order to fit on here, I think, is my guess. I'm not positive. But overall, it's just really solid. If you guys would like to purchase one, I'll go ahead and leave a purchase link down in the description below for this particular kit, and I'll also put one for each of the other two kits as well. This one was 41 American dollars, I believe, and I think the cheapest one is 35. So obviously for $6 more, it's a pretty good deal just to get all the sweet attachments with it. But I know that this one is pretty popular and likes to be sold out. It was actually sold out when I first communicated with Xtoyz. But thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.